Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy D, and I'm super excited about today's video. This video specifically was inspired from an anime slash manga called Blue Lock. I was rereading it last night, and the things that it went over in the specific parts of the manga, I realized correlated so well with how we should be operating in our day-to-day lives, how we set goals and challenges, and how we are able to use our ego and the egoist inside of us to rise to the occasion, to level up to new heights. More specifically, this episode is mainly going to be about goal setting, what actual goals should look like, how specific you should be about your goals, and how much foresight you should have of your plan. This is super important stuff that I really want to go over and I really want to take the time to talk about. I'm super excited to begin. If you guys can't tell, super swollen. I tried to parry a rear kick with my hand. Obviously I wasn't wearing any gloves. We were doing like shadow boxing, super light. I went to go parry and then the shin went right into my finger. And before we dive into this topic, per usual, another freshly rolled doink. And as the Mary Jane magician, I am going to demonstrate you a magic trick in 3, 2, 1. Just like that. It's gone. So I'm really excited to get in today's video because this topic about goal setting all ties into becoming a better version of yourself, which is the vibe that I've been on lately. I really want these videos that I make to help someone out there, someone who's lost, someone who doesn't really know what they're doing. Essentially, a version of myself out there, where they stumble across this video somehow on YouTube, and it makes them question, I would say. It'll make them question. And that's it. And then each individual will go from there, and they'll learn themselves through that. But step one, I feel like, is you actually question what's going on. So without further ado, on my phone I have different quotes that the characters said throughout the story that really resonated with me and was really important and impactful in the way that I realized that I could be better. And I hope that this could also help you. So the first quote is, "Are you unable to verbalize your own ideal self? Do you even know what you want to be? Do you know where you want to go? Do you know the values that you hold? Do you know what is important to you? What do you have? What do you look like? Where are you? Who are you with?" All of these questions are very significant because how can you manifest a future that you yourself don't know and don't have? Because if you don't know what you want, at the end of the day, that is simply wishful thinking, which we will get into later. But you have to be like a strategist, a general at war. Life could be like a war. There's different prongs of attacks and defenses, and it's up to you to decide what to do based off of what you want to happen. What is your goal? What is the end goal? So with starting with what you want in mind, you retrace your steps backwards and create smaller, I wouldn't say easier to achieve, but because it's smaller, it's achievable. For example, if my goal was to become a billionaire and all I had was $10,000, it would be very unreasonable for me to try to become a billionaire tomorrow. Instead, I could work towards that goal and take one step and say, okay, if I only have $10,000, I'll make sure I have at least $10,001 tomorrow. And it goes back to that African proverb of, how do you eat an elephant? I think it's an African proverb. But how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. So in your 1,000-mile journey, what is the first step that you could take towards achieving your goals? So if you ever find yourself stuck in a rut in the cynical cycle of I don't know what to do, my life is worthless, and you're just lazing around being a complete bum, wasting your entire life, the one life that you have. If you have a goal, you are able to retrace it to where you currently are. And there is always at least one thing you could do to move towards that goal. That is how you get yourself out of the rut, by at least having a sense of direction of where to go. And I'm realizing that these quotes kind of just went over what I already explained, but I will read them out now. Your own values just failed you. You cannot not know something about your own plans. Visualize an ideal situation that you can explain and verbalize completely. Not knowing means there is wishful thinking in your thought process, which is merely noise. And that lack of logic can destroy any plan. That is crazy. Me personally, I can already envision where I am failing in my current life and where I could be doing better just from reading this alone. Me personally, I want to be, I don't even like that phrase. I want to be. Me, I will be the kind of man that gets to play with 9 figures. 100 million, 2, 3, 4. I know that I am the type of man that works every single day diligently to achieve these things. Where I'm personally fucking up is I could visualize my ideal situation and I can explain it and verbalize it, but not completely. Let me elaborate. Let's just say 9 figures means 100 million. How would you get to 100 million? And what do you mean by 100 million? Is it net worth? Is it yearly income? Are you making 100 million a year? You got to be specific about these things. Personally, as long as I am in the 9-figure range, liquid, with various currencies in various countries to be safe, then that would be what comfort is for me, and that's where I would be happy in terms of my finances, goal-wise. And then the next step would naturally be, how would you get there? Me personally, I am going the real estate route. I'm going to start off with residential multifamily and build my way up into commercial real estate, specifically apartment buildings, around like the 150 to 250 unit capacity. And I feel like that is the route that I want to take, is because just from my history as a plumber, coupled along with what I've learned so far about residential multifamily, in my opinion, this specific business will bring in the cash flow that I want, because I don't want to be just net worth, along with bringing me more net worth by being able to create value for society. And when you create value, you get paid. This goes into what I was discussing before, but after you have your master plan, your master end goal, and you could truly visualize exactly what you want and you can verbalize it completely. So if anyone asks you, what is your dream? What are you working towards? What do you want? There's not a shadow of a doubt that you would just say exactly and coherently that a toddler can understand what you want. If you are struggling to find steps that can help you go towards it, these next set of quotes would be perfect. And it reads, "Is your first action something that brings you closer to being the best in the world?" By first action, it means the second you regain consciousness from sleeping the night before, are your actions in line or not in line with your goals? In terms of the main character of this manga, it was to be the best striker in the world in terms of soccer, the position, striker. Whatever your goal is, when you wake up, is the first thing you do in the morning something to help you achieve your goals? Or are you doing bullshit like trying to sleep in or going on your phone and going on social media first thing in the morning, which is crazy, by the way. And then the next quote is every moment, second, minute, and day of yours really doing anything for you to get closer to becoming the best? So beyond just the first thing you do in the morning, what are you doing during the day? Are these actions really impacting you in the way that you want it to impact? Are you really progressing towards your goals? Or is this busy work? Is it what I like to call mental masturbation of you trying to feel good about yourself for doing something, but in the end you're actually doing nothing because it has no impact on the goals you want to achieve? So the camera just went out. By mental masturbation, I mean that you're doing stuff and you're keeping yourself busy, but none of these things actually improves your life and pushes you closer to the goal and the dream outcome that you want. Instead of achieving your goals, you get the comfort of telling yourself that at least you're doing something and that you're trying your best. But would I be crazy to say that if you were trying your best and you were really doing everything you can to achieve that specific outcome that you want so bad, then it would be impossible to fail? Of course, there's luck involved, and two people with the exact same lives could do the exact same thing and have two different outcomes. One could succeed and one could fail. But who's to say failing is the end? In my belief, if you truly wanted it so bad, you would be able to work at it again and again and again until it does become a reality. And those quote-unquote failures weren't failures. They were stepping stones into your success becoming an inevitability. And even worse, for me, I could give a perfect example of business. There are things that you could do in your business to make it grow, obviously. I subscribe to Alex Hormozi's belief where there is always one thing holding back your business. There's always one specific aspect of your business that is the weakest link. If you were to solve that weakest link, then your business would explode onto the next level until you reach the next link that needs working on. But instead of fixing that weakest link, you try to solve a problem that you already know how to solve. That doesn't really impact the business in the way that you wanted to impact it. An example of that would be, let's just say, I already have the best product in the entire world, but nobody knows about it. To be able to get the best product in the world, I would already have to know how to solve specific problems, such as adapting to my avatar's wants and needs if it's differing from what I originally thought they wanted. But nobody knows about my product. So I have the best thing in the world, but nobody knows about it. What would be a wasted activity would be to try to make the product even better. You already solved that problem. It's a problem you already know how to do. On the other hand, no one knows about my shit. If people started finding out about your product, they would naturally buy and refer because it's the best product in the world. And from there, your business will grow and grow and grow and grow. But the problem is no one knows about it. So if you have the best shit in the world and no one knows about it, you're not supposed to keep trying to make your shit better. You're going to bang your head into a brick wall trying to solve a problem that's not the right problem to solve. To solve the right problem. Is your actions actually making a difference in achieving your goals? Or are you just mentally masturbating, trying to make yourself feel better? Because in this cold, cold world, it's the doers and the don'ts. There's the winners and there's the losers. I personally want to be a winner. I'm already doing the doing, so I already won, but I could be doing more, so I haven't won just yet. And it's crazy that I finished off with that statement by saying I haven't won just yet after saying some delusional shit as I already won, because these next quotes correlate with that perfectly. Confidence and delusion are two completely different things. Success won't come to people who blind themselves with deluded fantasies. A lot of people that I've talked to truly believe deep down in their heart that they are meant for greatness, and that everything will naturally come true to them, and that everything they ever wanted will happen. Which is a belief you're supposed to have. But if you're doing nothing to stir on that belief, one, I don't even know how you could believe that, because it's bullshit. It's made up fantasies. You are doing nothing to work towards it. So how could it possibly come true? And two, because you're stuck in that delusion, it's again mental masturbation. Anything to make yourself feel better about not actually doing the doing. Here's a crazy idea. How about you stop being a pussy and you fucking do the doing? And this is especially important for me, and maybe for you, is because I am extremely paradoxical, slightly irrational even. And I say that because I know from the way that I see the world, I genuinely think that I am meant for greatness. I am the type of man that can accomplish whatever he wants. If I could visualize it in my mind, I could create it in reality. Because I'm not afraid of hard work and discipline. Staying in the trenches, in the grind. Roll my sleeves up, get in the mud. And people will say, like, I'm from the trenches. Not like, I was really, really from the trenches in terms of plumbing. I was in those dirt, muddy, snowy trenches, watery trenches, putting in shit pipes because I was grinding and I was hustling every single day. And I know what type of character that built in me, because I got to witness myself mentally change and view the world completely differently. So as I was saying, the quote was, keep a rational mind. You are not a god. At this moment, if you could achieve one thing, what would it be? And it's always a reminder for myself to stay planted, because in the same light where I think I'm better than everybody else, I personally have very deep insecurities that I'm constantly fighting within myself to rewire. I catch myself within the bullshit. I catch myself betraying myself. And then I reroute it with a new paradigm, with a new way of thinking. And for me, it hasn't completely shifted yet. And I will get these moments of self-doubt. But the secret is, in my opinion, is to be able to catch it as quickly as possible and then shift it into the gain, the gap in the gain. Dan Sullivan. If you want me to talk about that, I think that was a great book. Highly recommend. It changed everything for me. I do want to point out that none of this would be possible if you didn't believe in it. If you didn't believe in yourself, that you can accomplish the things that you want in this world, that you can attain whatever you desire, whatever you could think of, and make it a reality. And a perfect example of this is this quote. The moment people believe things are impossible, they are programmed to give up. A useless survival mechanism. Back in the day when we were hunter and gatherers, it was useful. We would stay alive to be able to pass on our genes. But now, in a day and age where, for the majority of us, we don't have to think about that as priority number one. We have to reroute and be able to consciously go against the brain's wiring, or at least understand the wiring to be able to influence it and use these influences in the way that you want. For example, the nervous energy. You either fold under pressure or you don't. Going up to a girl, your heart beating fast, you feel that nervous feeling in your stomach. It either makes you more creative and you step up to the challenge, or you fall under the pressure and it feels like you're suffocating inside of an ocean. So always believe. Because what is the other option? Not believing? That like, to me personally, that's not even an option. Like, what do you mean you don't believe in yourself? And the last quote that I want to talk about is about individuality. What makes you you? And this quote reads, originality equals hunger. What do you hunger for is what makes a person's originality. At first, I would try to hunger other people's originality. For example, Andrew Tate wants to be the highest echelon of man in all realms. And at first, I said, oh, I want to be the best as well. But after looking myself deep in the mirror and doing a lot of reflection, I'm okay with not being the best. I genuinely do not give a fuck about being the best. I have to be at least top 1% because I'm a top 1% kind of guy. But the amount of sacrifice it takes to go from that 1% to being the best, in my opinion, is not worth it. That is not something that I would sacrifice. There are other things in my life that I want. It's a specific type of balance that I want in my life that being the best won't allow. Because being the best calls for sacrifice. And if you don't know what you're willing to sacrifice, you'll never reach that point because it would have never crossed your mind. That was the last quote, but it's crazy to me that a fictional story about soccer players could really get this in depth about ego and manifesting what you want to create and truly believing yourself, honestly. If you don't believe in yourself, you got to ask yourself why. You know why. You live with yourself. Every single action you do or inaction that you don't do is something that all adds up in the subconscious brain. And if you don't believe in yourself, you know deep down that you're the type of person who isn't reliable. Let's get deeper. Why don't you see yourself as reliable? Because you don't do reliable shit and you don't stay true to your word. Guaranteed. Because people who stay true to their word are reliable. And people who are reliable are trustworthy. In certain aspects. I'm not going to say as a whole because that could get really dangerous really quick. But reliable people do tend to be trustworthy. Be more trustworthy than unreliable people, at least. So ask yourself, what makes you unreliable? You don't stay true to your word. Okay, what are some things that you don't stay true to? Do you tell yourself you're going to work out and you don't work out? You lied to yourself. You broke a promise with yourself. You know you did. And me personally, I don't even know how you're still lazing around accepting that reality that you broke a promise with yourself. You're not staying true to your word and somehow you sit around feeling okay with it. And this is not like me judging. This is me truly being like, yo, I care about you. Get your shit together. And in that same way, I hope that you are able to look at me. And if I'm ever slacking, you can call me out on my bullshit. And that's the point of what a community is, I think. What good relationships is. Everybody carries and elevates each other instead of dragging each other down, trying to climb up yourself. So if you haven't thought about it, really do think about it. Why? What wakes you up in the morning? What gets your blood pumping, your heart racing? What makes your soul scream for life? What makes life taste sweet to you? Are you the type of person that you could rely on? Do you love yourself? If you were your loved ones, would you love you? If you were a potential partner, would you pick you? And if the answer is no, start asking why. And if the answer is yes, I hope you have whys to back it up and it's not delusion. Anyways, guys, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. This finger is crazy swollen. It's nighttime. It's a couple hours later. It was pointing this way when it happened and it was numb and I went like that and bent it back. So hopefully I'll be good in like a week. If we have a little sparathon, better be a bunch of gyms. We're all about to spar, technical, light, have fun, go into the new year. It's great people, get some work in. If you're not already taking care of your health, take care of your health. If you're not getting your money right, get your money right. And if you're not working on your relationships with friends, families, and potential partners, gotta work on it. Health, wealth, relationship. Let's continue elevating each other together. I love you guys so much. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. Comment whatever you want to hear about next. Holla.